I want to nominate a man who's cool on the outside, but who burns for America on the inside. When President Barack Obama took office, the economy was in free fall. It had just shrunk 9 full % of GDP. We were losing 750,000 jobs a month. Are we doing better than that today? The answer is yes. No president, not me, not any of my predecessors, no one could have fully repaired all the damage that he found in just 4 years. He has laid the foundations for a new, modern, successful economy of shared prosperity. And if you will renew the president's contract, you will feel it. You will feel it. When we vote in this election, we'll be deciding what kind of country we want to live in. If you want a winner-take-all, you're on your own society, you should support the Republican ticket. But if you want a country of shared opportunities and shared responsibility, we're all in this together society, you should vote for Barack Obama and Joe Biden. As the Senate Republican leader said, in a remarkable moment of candor, 2 full years before the election, their number one priority was not to put America back to work. It was to put the president out of work. Well, wait a minute. Senator, I hate to break it to you, but we're going to keep President Obama on the job.
So let's view the speech from opposing perspectives. On the left, CNN political analyst Roland Martin. On the right, Will Cain, a CNN contributor and an analyst for The Blaze. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning, Carol. We should point out to the viewer that was not the entire speech. That was highlights. The entire speech was 49 minutes. I know that seemed long, but the real thing was much, much longer.
He ad-libbed nearly half the speech.
You know what, Carol?
Yeah.
You know what, Carol? Here's what's so amazing. A lot of people talk about Bill Clinton's speech in 1988 at the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta, how long it was. That was 36 minutes. I was 36. On the floor. I was in that room. Trust me, nobody, it never even felt like 50 minutes. Probably for Will Cain, it was 50 minutes of getting his butt kicked. It was a little painful for him. So I'm sure he did not want to have that feeling for 50 minutes.
Okay, before we go on, we have to show the image the Democrats would say was the coup de grace, a man hug between President Clinton and President Obama. As if, you know, they were best buddies, although everybody knows they're kind of not. Can we see that picture? There it is. They had on identical ties, and it looked like matching suits. It was beautiful. Alex Castellanos, our Republican consultant, the father of the attack ad, said, shut the back door. Clinton just handed Obama the election. True?
It's so sweet.
Will?
It's so sweet. The chin on the shoulder, the back rub, the whole thing. It's so sweet. Did it hand the election to President Obama? No, I don't think so. Look, Roland pointed out, in 1988, Bill Clinton gave a speech at the Democratic National Convention that was roundly criticized, and at that time was only 36 minutes. This was 49 minutes. I'm going to agree with Roland about something. It was a very, very good speech last night. Former President Clinton's speech was, I don't know if it was a home run, but it was up against the fence. You know, I would say this. Set aside substance, Carol. Set aside the actual message of what he had to say, which is a pretty funny thing to say in and of itself. And he's one of about 3 guys who can make people listen for 50 minutes to connect to the audience. I think the other ones are people like Sarah Palin. And the other guy who's going to take the stage tonight, President Barack Obama.
Will, seriously, Sarah Palin will not make you listen for 50 minutes. But you know what, Carol? This is one,
and
I'm telling you, and I'm sure Republicans.
Be objective.
No,
she holds an audience.
I am being objective. I'm not trying to listen to Sarah Palin for 50 minutes. Here's the deal. You talk about jealousy, and I'm serious, and this is not in a mean-spirited way. I guarantee you Republicans were saying, man, we wish we had a former president who can come out and be statesman-like and do that for us. Obviously, President George H.W. Bush, he's up in age, health is not well, he's really not out there, and frankly, President George W. Bush, way too toxic for the Republican Party. That's the beauty of having a former president who can come out there. That one line we played when he said, I know any of my predecessors could have turned this economy around, given what President Obama was given. That means you're bringing your experience to bear, and so that's exactly what that was. And I'm sure Republicans were saying, man, I wish we had us a Bill Clinton.
Two things actually stood out to me. One, Clinton went off script. As I said, he ad-libbed about half the speech. And two, instead of doom and gloom, there was joy, humor, a sense of fun. How does the rather scholarly Barack Obama top that, Will Cain?
Well, now, listen to what I just said. I'm not playing teams or spin or anything here. I think there are three people, objectively, who can connect with audiences and keep their attention, go off script, seem like they're giving you a real speech, a real talk, not reading a teleprompter. And I think those three people in the political arena right now are Bill Clinton, Sarah Palin, and President Barack Obama. So I expect the bar to be very high for President Obama.
Why is Sarah Palin not part of, wasn't part of the Republican National Convention, and she's really not participating much?
Because, Carol, there's more. Because there's more than just being able to connect and hold an audience for 50 minutes. There's actual substance that matters as well. And if you want to reintroduce substance now, which Sarah Palin falls short on, President Clinton last night had several moments where he misconstrued facts, misconstrued his role as explainer-in-chief. He was not truthful in many points on the level of substance. But I didn't think we were talking about that. We were just talking about connecting, weren't we?
That's right, just connecting.
But she's still not connected for 50 minutes. Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I mean, that's nice, but you know that ain't happening. She's not going to connect that way. The bottom line is this here. Bill Clinton was extremely effective in framing the conversation. Can this whole notion, can President Obama top it? Of course he can, but he has a different job. His job is to cast the vision, lane the next 4 years. But I do believe, as Pastor Frederick Douglass Haynes often says in his sermons, President Obama should bowl down your alley and sit in your pew and get that up close and personal with the voter to say, I'm going to be the one who's going to defend you and have your back when I'm sitting in the Oval Office like I've done the last 4 years. That's the argument that he has to make tonight, and I believe that he will, and I'm sure will tomorrow be saying, man, they had Michelle Obama, Bill Clinton, and President Obama. I wish we had a murderer's row like that on our side.
We'll see. I got to wrap this up because we have a bit of breaking news to pass on to people. But thank you, Will Cain, Roland Martin, as usual.
You bet.